You know what I'm saying?
That part too. And then you know, Jake invented everything in America that you see, and who got the patent and the money for it? The Edomites.
Yeah.
The Edomites got the millions and all that, man, for our inventions, man.
Like one thing with Jake could crush your dreams, bro. That's why I say rebuke, bro. Cause whatever you finna do, bro, you gonna think that it's good in your eyes. I'm finna do this. And then the Jake could come like, nah, bro, you tripping, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know how Jake be hating and stuff like that. He like, boy, that is not tight, bro. That ain't tight, you know what I'm saying? And then you like, man, you hating it, then you start believing in it, you know what I'm saying?
Right, you get to thinking like, oh, well, maybe I do need to redo it.
And then it's like he rebuked you know what I'm saying? Yup.
It says, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
That's right. Hey, just jump down to 28. We're going to just skim through it.
This is verse 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 28.
Come.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Right, so that's mental illness right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of blacks and Latinos, you know what I'm saying, going through mental illness, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And then now people blind to the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been smitten with blindness.
And they can't wake up because the curses won't even let them wake up.
So, like, speaking of being blind to the truth and not being able to wake up, I can remember all my life growing up in a Christian church, man. A heavy spirit of slumber came upon me, man, and I would be so sleepy, and my mother or the usher would come pinch me and smack me and say, wake up, we doing a telecast and all of that. But it was a strong sleeping spirit that came over me when I was in the church, because the church is keeping people sleeping and dead and you know what I'm saying, blind. You blind going to that Christian church thinking that Yahweh shot that to save everybody from how he gonna save everybody from everybody?
Right, who gonna be condemned? Give verse 30.
Deuteronomy 28 and 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Right, so we see that all the time, bro, in our community. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, a lot of people got killed, bro, in the late and early 90s, bro. And even before that, because of, you know what I'm saying, somebody sleeping with somebody's wife, or Eve doing some heinous activity, bro, to get niggas killed and all that, or even lied, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
A lot of times in slavery, man, they just come in there, they are coming back in the shed and just look you up and down. Look like the white slave master, the Edomite slave master, come and look you right in your eyes and tell you, hey, get your wife. Give me your wife here. I'm finna take her in the room, and I'm finna take her in the crib, and he gonna take your wife in there and do his thing with her, man. And it ain't gonna be nothing you can do about it because you just a slave. What was that at 30? Yep. I'm gonna start that back from the top. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
That's the Edomite.
Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
Right, so we built the White House.
I was just finna say that, bro. We built the White House, and we ain't never been.
Been in the White House.
We can be in there. We can be chefs in the White House. We can cook and clean and be maids and servants. You know, they say the maids don't never leave. They're running the family. And you know, Barack Obama was a Hamite from Africa. He was a Hamite, man. He was from Kenya. So he was not an Israelite. He was not our people, man. He was the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Right. But anyway, it says, thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
That's right.
Because we picked all that cotton, man, for Levi's Jean Company and Hanes. We picked all that cotton for them people's, for their grandfathers, the CEOs of all these companies now that deal in cotton. We picked all that stuff for their grandparents, and we ain't benefiting off of that, man. We never benefited off of that, man. They did. They set up and got and waxed fat off of our hard working labor, man.
48.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48.
You're gonna get the main ones.
Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies.
Right, so Esau ain't go through this, read it.
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So there's certain things Esau don't have to go to the white man for. The white man don't have to go to another white man for, bro. But we have to go to them for everything, bro. Everything. You know what I'm saying? So the people that are saying they Jews are not Jews, bro. They are the synagogue of Satan, bro. These Edomites is celebrating the Passover, bro. Celebrating our Purim. They a bunch of hypocrites, bro. And they a bunch of imposters, bro. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Doc.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
Right.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
They put yokes of iron on our ancestors back in slavery, you know what I'm saying?
And some of y'all still got them yokes of iron on y'all man right now, man.
Yep.
You got the yoke of iron on your man, and you destroyed. It say, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So a lot of you jakes out here is destroyed, man. You got street niggas want to just consistently kill each other. You know what I'm saying? You got, now, I can understand why the Edomites hate us and want to kill us. But like, what do we have so much hatred against each other for, man? You know, we supposed to be loving each other, trying to lift each other up, not kill each other and take each other out, man.
Exactly.
But we've been destroyed, man. And that's why we mad at Esau, man, because he destroyed us. We are destroyed as a people, man. I hate to see my people in the predicament that they in. You know?
Year 49.
It says, Deuteronomy 28:49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Right, so this what happened to the Native American Indians, and it happened to the so-called Negroes, man. So you Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you the same people, man. You know what I'm saying? We come from the tribe of Judah. You know what I'm saying? If you a so-called Mexican, you from the tribe of Issachar. If you a so-called Native American Indian, you from the tribe of Gad. If you a so-called Puerto Rican, you from the tribe of Ephraim, bro. We the same people, man. The nations came against us, bro. These Edomite nations came up against us, man. You know what I'm saying?
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right, so the conquistadors, you know what I'm saying, they came with Spanish, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they came and got us, they were speaking English, bro. So we speaking, the Aztecs did not, their native language was not Spanish, man. That wasn't their language, man. Our language wasn't English, bro. We spoke Paleo-Hebrew. What?
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land, which also shall and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
Right, and they came and took down the Americas. They came through and slaughtered you know what I'm saying, they buffaloes and all that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Jump down to 54.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
You know, that's black on black crime. You know what I'm saying? You got black gangs, Mexican gangs. It's all hereditary, man. Because the Deuteronomy 28 is our DNA kit, man.
Let me let me pause in the middle of that scripture right there. While we was just talking about the black on black crime, man. Let me read that over from the top. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. So the man that is tender and delicate among you, that's us, man, because no matter what they trick you into believing, we don't have a compassionless spirit in us. We have compassion and mercy in our hearts where we want to love and for the most part we know this. We can know this. We know this, man. It's just that these other nations, man, they deceive us and they tricked us and made us hate each other, man. You know what I'm saying? But the Most High allowed them to cause us to hate each other, you know what I'm saying? Because just think about it, man. Back in the Emmett Till days, we wasn't hating each other and walking down the street mean mugging and killing each other like that. This was a conspiracy designed to make us hate each other and kill and destroy each other. So now their plan has succeeded. They've caused us to be a part of the Gangster Disciple Nation, the Black Disciple Nation, the Black Peace Stone Nation, the Four Corner Hustler Nation, the Nation of Islam, the Vice Lord Nation. Every nation you can think of, we coming to, but we're not coming back to the nation of Israel like the Most High gave us, man. So we got to forsake everything that we was ever taught and be born again and come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave us in the beginning of time to benefit us, man. You know, but yeah, man, it says, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Right. So you know that single family homes.
You know that the black household is missing a father.
Up, yeah.
We ain't had the father growing up. Some people had their daddy around a little bit. Some people ain't have them at all. But for the most part, the majority of black households grew up without a father.
I can't recall the last time I seen a white family, because I used to go to school with white people when I moved to Georgia. I don't remember last time they families was broken up. You know what I'm saying? All they mother and father's kids is about each other, bro. It's not no, he got a different daddy from me, or you know what I'm saying? They don't go through none of that. I'm not saying it don't happen, but we fit the curse. We fit all the curses
to
bro.
A T. To the T.
You know what I'm saying? Go to 61.
The book of Deuteronomy.
We're gonna get a few more that we're gonna close out, bro, because
the book of Deuteronomy,
you know what I'm saying?
Chapter 28 and verse 61. And every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Yep, every sickness and every plague, you know what I'm saying? Diabetes, sickle cell, cancer, high blood pressure,
Gonorrhea, syphilis, AIDS.
All that. Heart disease, you know what I'm saying? Lupus. You know, this is what we go through, bro.
Herpes, chlamydia.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? What they call it, blue waffles. I believe that's a form of herpes, genital warts that the sisters get down there, man. What the book of Isaiah 4 say? No, Isaiah 3:16.
Yeah,
burning instead of beauty.
Instead of sweet smells, it shall be stink.
It shall be stink instead of a sweet smell.
Yep. You can't fake these.
You can't fake these curses on our people, man.
Exactly.
Ain't no getting away from that, bro. I done came across them in the past. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, my experience from life, folks, you done came a few of the women that stink instead of the sweet smells.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Instead of well-set hair, baldness, man.
Now, you know, 99% of the women I done came across in the past. They didn't have that well-set hair. They was bald, man, struck. We call them wedges. They ain't have edges, so they had wedges. But,
go to, Salakia. Yeah, you finished that out. I don't think you finished it.
What was that, 61?
Come.
No, I finished it. And
all right, go to 64.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. Where the Jews at? Where the Israelites at? And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And we know what the wood and stone is.
Christianity and Islam.
Yep.
Because how do they make the cross? They make the cross, they take the two pieces of wood, nail them together, and they put them up everywhere. And people kneel down and bow down in front of those crosses. And the cross ain't nothing but a Roman instrument of death. A Roman Edomite instrument of death that they crucified 200 of your people a day on in the Colosseum. I believe that was after 70 AD. We're going to look into that too on another time, man. That Colosseum action after 70 AD.
Yeah, 65.
This is the book, Deuteronomy 28 and 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
That's right.
Let me read that over, man. Let me start at 64 again. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other end. Salaki, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations which thou shalt, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease. And neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
So our people was working so hard, bro. The sole of their foot was swelling up, man. Hold on, Salaki.
Hold on, I got you. Yeah, come.
Yeah. So it say the sole of your foot shall not find no rest, man. You wasn't gonna get no rest, man. You know how our grandmothers was, bro. Foot be swelling up from working. You know what I'm saying? They got bunions and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Sun up, man. Just to get a couple of potatoes and tomatoes to feed the people, to feed the family.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That was crazy.
We talking about the early 1900s, bro. We talking about the 1920s. 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940s, 1950s. We talking about that, man. When we was being segregated, man, if they kicked you off the bus, you have to walk home, bro. Or catch another bus, man. You know? just because of the your skin color, man. The color of your skin. Go ahead, Art.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Jump to 67.
It says, in the morning thou wilt say, would God it were even? And that even thou shalt say, would God it were morning?
So they will wish it was nighttime. Like, man, I wish it was nighttime.
So we
and
can
I
get
wish
off.
it was, I wish it was morning time, man. I'm ready to go, man.
But
Or they were scared of the KKKs, man.
Yeah.
They were like, man, I wish it, when it was nighttime, they seen the Ku Klux Klan, they wish it was the morning time.
Right,
So they could be able to run and get away.
That's what I was going to say on verse 65, man. It says, it says, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the soul like foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. So that goes down even to this day, bro. When we get in that car, you got to put your seatbelt on. You got to take that baseball hat off. And, you know what I'm saying? You got to be on point because we afraid of the police pulling us over, killing us, man.
Yeah.
Pulling us over, taking our car, locking us up, putting our kids in DCFS and killing us and planting drugs on us, man, because the Most High put us amongst these people, man.
Exactly.
But you say 67?
Yeah.
In the morning thou wilt say, with God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, with God it were morning.
Right, so prolonging their life, man. Their life was hanging in doubt. You know what I'm saying?
For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
Right, so when they see the KK Klan, they were, oh shit. they was probably hiding under the, you know, they got the wood where they can hide under the wood.
Yeah.
They had stuff like that because the KKKs was pursuing niggas, man, to hang.
Yeah.
With crosses and torches and stuff like that.
The original police force on those paddy wagons looking for the slave patrol.
Yep. Verse 68. Yep.
Verse 68, man. Nail in the coffin.
This the clincher right here. This the grand slam right here.
It says Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
Come.
with ships.
Right, so it's saying the Lord shall bring us into Egypt. Egypt is a Greek word that means bondage or slavery.
And I'm going to prove that with the book of Exodus chapter
20 verse 2.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Come.
And it reads, I am the Lord thy God which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Right, so the scriptures should read, and the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. We just going to do it one time and replace that word Egypt with bondage. And the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships.
So what people do you know historically went on slave ships as slaves?
So-called African-American
Exactly.
Negro man.
So that proves that we are 100% the real Jews, Israelites, according to the Bible. And with that, we like to say all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, and peace, power, safety to the nation of Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. With that, Shalom.
Shalom.